What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back, and another week of Bracketology updated as of January 25th, but we're recording it on the 27th here. So you may see a new Bracketology by the time you watch this video. But, right now, lots of chaos in college basketball after a huge Auburn win last week. That gives them the top overall seed. They're definitely the hottest team in basketball right now, no doubt about it. Their play, on the court just sums it up. But that close win at Missouri this week, 1 point on the road, was a very sketchy game. But every team has a bad game. And they still found a way to win. So that really shows you that this Auburn team has more than, just great games in them too.
Yeah, I agree. Going off Auburn, it's every team seems like they struggle when they get to number one for the first time ever. Seems like a death wish. So good for them just pulling out the win. And it's weird seeing Arkansas here as a team out of the field because they were so highly ranked to start the season. But that's going to be a theme in this bracket. I think there's going to be a lot of upsets this year because you have a lot of really talented teams that are actually bubble teams.
And speaking of bubble teams, you got Florida, who almost pulled off the upset last night. It seems like they were winning for 15 straight minutes, it felt like, and then just collapsed in the last 5. But of those bubble teams, I think you could make a case for every single one of these teams right here to get in. And most surprisingly, I think that Texas A&M team in the next 4 out will turn some heads before this is all over, because the SEC is just whoever can get hot. I feel like is going to win that conference. Auburn's the hottest team right now, obviously. When they have to play Kentucky again, the big dogs, I kind of see them slipping a little bit. So it's really up for grabs. But what team interests you here?
I would definitely say Oregon and Michigan. Bias aside on this one, I think those two are playing the best out of this group at the moment. I know Oregon just took that loss to Colorado, but before that they were on a huge win streak. They'll get back on track. Michigan's won 3 in a row. And then I would look out for Arkansas as well. I just said they were ranked almost top 10 to start the season. So now that they're up there, watch out for them.
And we'll start with the Midwest bracket here. I'll go first here. I've been thinking it's all chalk right now, besides Oklahoma upsetting Colorado State. And I think Auburn will cruise to a Sweet 16. Same with Villanova and Houston and Purdue, all the top seeds there. This is where it gets a little dicey. I think, Villanova could give Auburn a run. But I just think of how good Auburn has been playing and showing that they can beat the best teams while Villanova can't. It's got to give it to Auburn there. And then Purdue, Houston, I think size matters come tournament time. And Purdue obviously has that. So it should be a 1 versus 2 matchup. And I'm going to go with the Boilermakers here in a kind of an upset. We've seen them play some sketchy basketball as of late, but they can, still win games when it matters. No matter how good or bad they play, they still win. So Purdue is my first Final Four team here.
Yeah, this region, I think, could have at least 3 teams potentially come out of it, and I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm going to go Auburn, like you said, easy route to this Sweet 16, kind of week 8-9 game there. I'll say all chalk other than Oklahoma. I think they're playing pretty well right now, just won at West Virginia. And here's where it gets interesting. You got to find upsets. They're going to happen this year. So you got to find upsets that could happen. Oklahoma, they're playing well right now. So that's my upset. Oklahoma over Purdue into the Sweet 16. I do think Auburn could struggle with Villanova, but I don't think it's a great matchup for Villanova. So I'm going to say Auburn's in the Elite 8. Give me Houston coasting through Oklahoma. But without Sasser, they're not beating Auburn. So I'll take Auburn to the Final Four.
And move it over to the West. Gonzaga, obviously, is probably going to be a 1 seed from here on out. No really doubt about that. But the 2 seed in UCLA moving up, they were a 1 seed at one point, slipped after a brutal week. But other than that, I think this region is really up for grabs because you have Illinois at a 5, Providence, who went on the road last night, beat Xavier. They'll be moving up for sure. LSU, tough win at home against Texas A&M. All these teams I think right now this could be the hardest region, just because it seems like Gonzaga's in it and they're always in the easy hard region, But I think I'm gonna go with Texas, moving the Sweet 16 and upsetting UCLA as well. I think that's my big one in this one. I think if Texas gets hot in the Big 12 tournament, win a few games there, potentially even win that, they might move up to a 4 or 3 seed, just because how close everyone's records are. And give me Providence playing Texas. You got a 6 versus 7 in the Sweet 16. And I'm going Providence. I'm going with my team, my sleeper team, making it to the Elite Eight, over my preseason pick of Texas. And then at the top, we're gonna get interesting again. I'm going Toledo over LSU. Loyola will beat Gonzaga. Hear me out. Hear me out. If Loyola can shoot the ball how they normally shoot it every game, they can keep up with Gonzaga. But what they would have to do is, get Chet into foul situations early for them to kind of win that game, to take away the size. And I think that's what'll happen here. A huge upset. They did it last year with Illinois. They'll do it again this year with Gonzaga. And they will lose to Illinois this year, though, in the Sweet 16. And I think it'll be Illinois and Providence, a 5 or 6 going in the Final Four. I'm going to go with Illinois here. When Kofi plays, they're a top 10 team in the nation. And when he doesn't, they maybe are a top 50. We saw that squeaked out a win against Michigan State, though, which was a very solid win, even without Kofi. And that's kind of why I got Illinois moving on here.
All right. I'm going to go a different direction, but I will agree. I think this is the best region in this bracket all around. If you look at teams all the way 1 through 16, easily the strongest. I think Loyola should get through Seton Hall. I'm not going to take them over Gonzaga, but watch out for the MAC. I'm going with Toledo upsetting LSU. It seems like the MAC teams usually win a game in the tournament, and I'm just not super high on LSU. So I'm going to go Gonzaga versus Illinois in the Sweet 16. And, down on the bottom, it gets interesting. You got a strong 6, a strong 7. But I'm going to go with some chalk. I'm going to go UCLA versus Texas Tech. Both of those teams are playing really well right now. Unfortunately, there's a lot of room for upsets, but I'm going a lot of chalk. So I'm going to have Gonzaga against UCLA in the Elite Eight. And if that matchup happens, I think UCLA gets through Gonzaga. I just think they have all of that frustration from the buzzer beater last year. And if they rematch in the tournament, I think UCLA is going to beat them.
And moving over to the East here, this region could be the most up in the air region because you have Arizona at the 1, who just lost to UCLA. I think you got to go Florida State. They were hot, but then lost. So, I don't know there. Indiana, same thing there. So that 8-9 is a coin flip, but it won't matter because I think Arizona will win. And then I'm going with Kentucky over Murray State to get to the Sweet 16. I think Murray State will pull off that upset. And I'm going Michigan State to the Sweet 16 over Marquette, and Kansas over Miami, upsetting Iowa. And then I'm going to go Michigan State upsetting Kansas to get to the Elite Eight. I feel like they, seem to play each other always around this time. Sweet 16, Elite Eight, to advance to the next game, especially in March. And I think they can do it. They've grown since the beginning of the year, this Michigan State team. And we'll see what they can do Saturday as well against our boys in Michigan. But right now, projections wise and what I've seen, Michigan State could be the better team. And then going up, Kentucky, Arizona. I think Kentucky wipes the floor with Arizona. Just, size and the SEC play gears them up for a good matchup here and should blow them out. And then you got Michigan State, Kentucky. This is another coin flip game. I think you could say it could go either way. It just depends on whose bigs play better. And I got to give the upper hand to Kentucky. So right now I have absolutely 0 1 seeds in, and it seems like, it's really hard for 2 1 seeds to make it, as we saw last year. So lots of up in the air for this bracket so far.
Yeah, this region could definitely have some upsets going on. I am going to pick some. Florida State, I think, beats Indiana, who is 2 up and down. Florida State, I think they beat Arizona. You know, Arizona, we saw them against UCLA. Arizona likes to just impose their will. And when a team doesn't let them do that, they struggle. Florida State is not the team you can do that on. So they pull the upset. I'm going to agree Kentucky over Murray State. Xavier are frauds. They're my fraud team this year. And I'll go chalk on the bottom. I see all the higher seeds winning down there. So Kansas will meet Michigan State there in the Sweet 16. But back up to the top, Kentucky, Florida State. Kentucky should get through that. Florida State's run ends. I'm going to go with Kansas in a close one over Michigan State. But I'm going to agree with you and take Kentucky to win this region, who's playing very well right now. They're a scary team.
And moving over to the final region here, Baylor, has been a great team so far this year. And other than that 1 week, they've looked like the best team in the country. You could say the same about Duke. They have some sketchy games here and there, but once again, they find ways to win. But other than that, I think there could be a lot of upsets in this region as well. And we're going to start with Davidson upsetting BYU, UAB beating Alabama. UAB has been a very solid under the radar team this year. And Alabama has, been kind of average since, the first 2 months. Since then, they've been an average team. Tennessee, we're going to have them get upset because it seems like they always get upset in the tournament. UConn could be a sleeper team, though, in this region. And I think they'll advance the Sweet 16 and upset those Badgers, who, were bottom 10 of the Big Ten projection start of the year. And I think the Duke will easily get through either St. Mary's or Iowa State. Doesn't really matter because those teams are just kind of a play-in game, essentially. So I'm going to have Duke and UConn in the Sweet 16. And we're going to have Duke moving on to the Elite Eight. And who they're going to be playing there? It's UAB versus Baylor. And let's just say that UAB doesn't have it this game. So it's going to be 1 versus 2. And I will be taking a 1 seed to move to the Final Four in Baylor.
Yeah, wow, this region, I don't see a lot of strength. I think this is easily the weakest region. Part of that is Alabama's a 5 seed here, and they just lost to Georgia after the bracket, so they probably dropped way down. Baylor should coast into the Sweet 16. I'll say they beat BYU. Man, that is a weak 4-5, very weak 4-5 there. But I'm actually gonna somehow say Tennessee and Alabama both win, and I'm gonna go with Tennessee because Alabama, I don't know what's going on with them. I agree, UConn as the sleeper. I think they get through Wisconsin and move to the Sweet 16. I'm gonna say St. Mary's beats Iowa State, but Duke gets through there. So you got Baylor and Tennessee on the top. Baylor should win that easily. And, I don't see Tennessee scoring 50 there. And Duke should get through UConn. So I also have a Baylor-Duke Elite Eight matchup. And I think Coach K goes out in this game. I think Baylor moves on to the Final Four. They have too much for Duke.
All right. So if we look here at our Final Fours, I mean, pretty two, different Final Fours, as I have Purdue facing Kentucky on the left side here, and should be a great game for the ages. And I think we got to go with Kentucky. I mean, after that loss to Auburn really showed me that this team can fight. Doesn't matter the outcome of the game. They're fighting till that last whistle. And I think that plays off, in March Madness, because sometimes teams just kind of, all right, we're down 10 with 4 to go. Let's stop trying. If we don't hit a 3 and they hold it, score, they think it's over. But Kentucky really didn't show that at all in that Auburn game. And so I think that's what's going to get me to pick Kentucky to go to the title. This one, I think I've been wrestling with a little bit here. Baylor obviously is a great team and all. But what did I say? Illinois? I think I said Illinois. Yeah. Illinois, just Kofi. I think he came back just because, he's going for this title. And I think they're going to knock Baylor out. So it's going to be an Illinois-Kentucky matchup. I think we're going to give the upper hand to Kentucky here and John Calipari. He's going to get another one. It's long-awaited title. Happens this year as of January 27th.
Okay, my Final Four, I got Auburn and Kentucky in a SEC rematch. And if they match up, that's going to be a really intense game. It'll be at least the third time they play, if not the fourth. So expect some bad blood there. I think Kentucky wins it at the, I'm thinking a last second shot, something along those lines. A very close game. But Kentucky, I think, pulls it out at the end, breaks Auburn's hearts. And who else do they have? Baylor, UCLA. I just don't see UCLA putting together the offense they want to. They play ISO offense. Can't really do that against Baylor. So I have Baylor and Kentucky, and I don't feel great about it, but I'm taking Baylor. I hate picking, repeat champions. I hate doing it, but I'm going to break my own rule here and go with Baylor. They just look like the most complete team right now in a year where there's not many complete teams.
And that'll be it for our video today. If you liked it, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to our channel. As lots of college basketball will be coming out soon. We're going to be shooting out lots of new ideas for college basketball, trying to get creative here and putting out content for you guys. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.
She never called back.